wins ahead today. Full wins in general are always a good springboard into next year. You got to feel with those two freshmen did. It's really a springboard.
I think it's a continuation of what started a little bit earlier in the year. They're two talented football players. That room is a talented room. We'll get PJ back next year. He won't be back in the spring, but we'll get him back next year. We'll get Desmond Peoples back. Justin Gooden played a little bit today. So we're fortunate that that is a very talented room, and we needed just about every one of them this year. So, I mean, I've heard people say that it's a springboard into the, I don't know that I agree with that. Tomorrow morning when we wake up, this is a completely different football team. The seniors will move on. The freshmen that we're recruiting will be added a little bit later. But what I do think it does, it creates a good feeling around the program. That's for sure. With the alumni and the university, the boosters, the student body, there certainly will be a good feeling for a long time.
When you look beyond today, Leonte Carroo announcing he's going to come back for senior year, just your thoughts on that, obviously.
I'm excited about it. I think the fact that Leonte's coming back next year makes us a better football team. Leonte's a very talented player, and now another year in the system, we'll have a chance to. I don't know if he can expand his role. He's got a pretty big role as it is, but I think he can take more steps now and to become even more of a complete player. He's a dominant football player right now, but everybody can get better, and we're going to make sure we got a plan to make sure he gets better.
What was your conversations like with Leonte leading up to it about the decision-making process?
We spoke a little bit in the beginning, and then I said, I think it's in your best interest to get evaluated by the NFL, which he did, and then we went through the process of feeling out what would be there for him in terms of insurance and things like that, the logistical issues. And then we didn't really talk about it much. We were getting ready for the game, and we were going to talk about it afterwards. But he felt today was the day to announce that he was coming back, and if that's what he wants, then I want him back. So I'm all for it.
Just overall, just 8 victories in the first Big Ten year. I mean, can you just assess the season as a whole for how you feel about this rugby program?
I feel like the team confirmed everything I felt about them, and I know, I don't pay a lot of attention to what the predictions are, but I'm not naive to them either. I mean, you hear it, you see it on TV or in magazines and things like that. So I never agreed with what the public perception was of this football team. I felt like we had a good football team. I thought we'd be competitive. I thought we'd be playing in the postseason, and I thought we'd have a chance to be a championship program again. And in every way, this football team made me right.
Do you feel like, can you even just put in for a minute the last 6 quarters of football that you're played? What happened?
Well, I would tell you, the Maryland game and this game, 2 unique games separated by a lot of time. So I don't know that there's any carryover effect. I've never felt that way. But I thought we had a good bowl prep. But when there's that much time in between the last game and the next game, it can get a little interesting. I think you saw some of those things at the end of the game got a little bit interesting for us. But even today was interesting. Somebody who pours his heart into this program, and Jason Baum, he wakes up with a kidney stone. So we were dealing with that in pregame, and he wasn't down there on the sideline with me. So I question his toughness a little bit, but I don't question his dedication to the program. That's for sure. But bowl games, strange things happen in bowl games, whether it's kidney stones or onside kicks. You never really know. But I thought we played good football today. I thought on offense and defense, let me say it that way, we played good football. I didn't think we really played our best game in special teams, and there were some reasons for that. But as we go forward into the spring, I feel like we're making progress as a program, and that the players that are coming back will get better, and some of these guys that redshirted this year have an opportunity to really fill in and make a big impact on this team next year.
How about the way Gary goes out? A couple nice pinpoint touchdown passes.
Well, I didn't say it to Gary, but I said it to Mike. I said, I get Jay gives me the alerts and the articles and things like that. I know there was an article talking about, Gary being in a class with Ryan and Mike, and I said, Mike's on my staff. I said, Mike, he might want to win one to be in your class. I didn't say that to Gary, but I do think, this really was the only thing left out there for him, that he hadn't accomplished, and now he has, leading this team to a bowl championship. And Gary was very emotional in the locker room, which I would expect, because he's poured so much of his life into this program over the last 4 years that it'd be hard not to be emotional in a moment like this.
What about for you, winning a bowl championship with them?
I guess it's one less question I have to answer from you guys. But above and beyond that, it's an opportunity for me to really enjoy a moment with my players. I've been coaching, I think, 21 years now. I've been fortunate to be a part of some very talented teams, accomplished teams. But I always want for the players to have this experience, because for some of those players as seniors, they don't get an opportunity to try again next year. And now, these seniors get to go out with a championship and a ring that says champions, and I think that's important. When you look at if you're fortunate enough to have any rings, if you look at any of them, there's always some disappointment when you see the ones that don't say champions, and you have some thoughts about what could have been done, what should have been done. But this group won't have to say that because their ring will say champions.
Defensively, they came in averaging, I think, 34 points a game. Midway through the fourth quarter, limited to 7. I mean, take away those 2 touchdowns, the onside kicks. So, pretty good job against a good offense. How are you able to do it over the game?
Yeah, you don't really get to take them away. I appreciate you saying that. But we didn't put our defense in great situations. I would say that. And I thought our defense was very opportunistic today, really opportunistic, and did a good job of getting off the field without giving up points, and then to block a point, forced 2 fumbles. I think Zoe had the blocked field goal. I think he may have forced 1 fumble or maybe even 2. But I thought we played really opportunistic defense today, and that was fun to watch.
You talk about Zoe, he actually he recovered 2 at the block.
He did.
Yeah. It's just, especially going on this last game like that.
Yeah, you would like your seniors to play their best football, and I think Zoe did that today. And I would tell you that this group of seniors made it a point that they wanted to go out with a championship. And the fact that the last 2 years we came up a little bit short was very much a motivating factor for them. And I think that's a good thing. They wanted to be able to kind of take their place with some of the other Rutgers football teams. And you come around the Hale Center and you see the trophies, and they wanted to put another trophy in the Hale Center, and they did that. And Zoe's been a big part of this team all year, and certainly a big part of the win. Well, the timing of it was a little bit by surprise, and I didn't do a great job of avoiding it because I still can't hear out of my right ear. So we'll work on that when I get back to the training room.
Is that your first one?
No, I've had a couple before that. They got me at South Florida. The offensive lineman got me at the Pinstripe Bowl against Iowa State a couple of years back, and they got me in Maryland too. So I've had a few of them. This one is, I think this one might have been the biggest jug though.
Speaking about your offensive line, you're looking at this 300 yards rushing. I mean, how much credit does Bert get and also the offensive line?
Yeah, Jay told me, I guess the first time we've had 200-yard backs since Brian and Ray against Syracuse 05 or 06? 06. So, that's the first time in a long time doing something. I think when you see 2 running backs who do that, it's not just about them. It's about the linemen and the tight ends and Michael Burton. But it's the kind of game as an offensive lineman that you love playing in. There's no doubt.
Ending strong, and some of the players that are coming back that were on display today. Do you feel good about the arc of this program heading into the offseason now?
I do. But I think now going into next year, you got to earn everything. You got to earn everything from scratch all over again. There's no doubt. But I do think, as I've said before, winning helps. Winning helps recruiting. Winning helps the feel around the program. Winning makes the alumni feel better. Winning makes the boosters feel better. Winning makes the president of the university feel better. And Bob Barczy's happy. That makes me happy. So, if we could make him a little happier today, that's a good thing. Jim Delaney's happy, because the Big Ten was 1-0 here in this stadium today. I don't know how the other teams fared, but I think winning always helps. So it's certainly a lot of positives will come out of today.
Coach, from your perspective, how did it feel for seeing some coaches and supporters wearing the NYPD since being that you're a big supporter of them? How did it feel?
Well, I had them sent to me, and I didn't have enough for everybody, but I put them out in the locker room. But I told her, I said, hey, listen, this is not a mandatory thing. If you want to wear it, that's fine. If you don't, I'm comfortable with that. That's not an issue for me. But I think they know how. I think they know how special that relationship is to me. So I appreciate the fact that they did it.
Can you just describe anything of Leonte? Like, how did he do that? What was the scene like?
Well, someone tipped me off that he wanted to make an announcement, so I made him do what I do. He had to stand on a chair in the locker room and face his teammates and make the announcement. So he was brief and to the point, and
How did they react?
a lot of excitement. Oh yeah, there was a lot of
Did you know
excitement.
what he was going to say before he got up on the chair?
No comment. Might be the first one in my career. No comment.
Coach, you mentioned that Nova was very emotional after the game. You seem to be a little emotional yourself. Can you talk about what was going through your mind at that point in the postgame?
It's hard not to be emotional. There's so much of your life that gets poured into this, and to have a couple moments on the field with your family, with your wife and your sons and your daughter, or you see the teammates. And one of the things I told the team, I said, don't leave this field until you take every picture you want. Because once you leave the field, then we'll go back to the hotel and we'll celebrate. But I wanted them to have an opportunity to take the memories with them in photographs. And I know how meaningful some of those things are for me. I have a picture in my office of myself with my parents after one of my football games in college. And I cherish that picture because I don't have a lot of pictures like that. And I want to make sure that they have them for themselves and they take them with them.
Thanks, Kyle.
Thank you.